Today, on the Canadian Way, the 2019 GMC Acadia SLT2. Yes, SLT2, because there's a lot of version on that SUV. And it's kind of complicated. Bonjour, hi. I borrowed this Acadia from one of our viewers. The Acadia arrived here in 2006 on the Canadian market, and this is the second generation which arrived in 2017. Back in 2019, a base model for Acadia worth $34,000, but a fully loaded model worth around $53,000. Let's talk about the version that you have for the Acadia. You have the SLE1, which is a 4-cylinder front-wheel drive. You have the SLE2, which is a 4-cylinder all-wheel drive. But then you have an SLE1, which is a V6 engine with front-wheel drive, and SLE2, which is another V6 with an all-wheel drive. Then you have the SLT. Then you have the SLT1, which is only available in all-wheel drive. But then you have the SLT2, which is a little bit more equipped than the SLT1. And then you have the Denali. Not to forget that the SLE1 is not the same as the SLE1, and the SLE2 is not the same as the other SLE2, as one have a 4-cylinder and another one has a V6. Can GM make it more complicated? Don't forget that the SLE1 is front-wheel drive, but the SLT1 is only available in all-wheel drive.
Andrew, I'm better with an SLE1 than an SLE1 because the SLE1 has a V6 and the other SLE1 has a 4-cylinder, but the SLE2 is better because the SLE2 is all-wheel drive, so I should get an SLT1 because it's front-wheel drive. No, it's actually all-wheel drive, so
get the
where are we?
Get the SLE2. It's a V6 all-wheel drive.
But the SLE1 with the V6 all-wheel drive, SLE2, then
you can't have the SLE1 in the V6, no? You can't have the V6 in the SLE1. Because the SLE1 is not the same as the SLE1.
Yeah, but the SLE1 is the same as the SLE1, but it's not the same because it doesn't have the same engine, but it has the same engine, but it doesn't have it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So get an Denali.
Here, we'll make it simple. Here, we have an SLT2 with a V6 all-wheel drive. This Acadia, when it was new, worth $48,000. But nowadays, it's worth $35,000. And today, I'll show you around the Acadia and where it belongs on the Canadian scale. The general looks of the Acadia is really family oriented. Front end look really muscular and it reminds me of the Canyon. We have here some big muscular headlamp and a nice plastic chrome grills. Although these fogs are very tiny. I really don't know if this is useful. On the side here we found the fender, which reminds me of the Sierra, which is pretty muscular, and the black harsh, which protects. But when I arrive here on the side, it looks like a minivan. The roof rack here seems pretty tough. And here we have all black plastic all the way to protect. These tires are 235/55 20s, which will be pretty expensive to replace. And it's kind of weird to see a side mirror without blinkers these days. The rear end definitely looks like a minivan, no question about it. Starting the interior with the back, you'll find another way to find where the handle is, because it's just over here, underneath the license plate. That's a decent speed for a trunk to open. Here, behind the third row seat, you'll find 362 liters of cargo space. But one thing I found pretty weird is that my arms here go pretty far, and my other arms not. GM find a way to save 2 cents by not writing power outlet on the power outlet cover. So it's pretty hard to find. So to lower the third row seats, all you need to do is pull those latch here, but push them. pretty easy to do. Here, with a third row seat down, you'll find 1,181 liters of cargo space. On both sides, you'll find cheap plastic all around. Even here on the trunk, it's cheap plastic, and they're all already scratched. Here, I'll lower the second row seats by pulling this latch over there. I won't lower the other seats because there's a baby seats on. Here, you'll find 2,237 liters of cargo space. It's a good size, but it's less than the average of the class. Getting in a third row seats, the door opens pretty wide. All you need to do is pull the latch over here. I have enough space.
Disappear!
There's also a path in the middle because this is a 6-passenger. Here on the third row seat, you'll find a USB outlet, cup holders, and a little storage space. But they had some cheap plastic here, so it's easy to scratch. We'll find here on the roof a vent for the air, and you'll find here some reading lamps, which is pretty nice. What I find really weird is that on the right side, all you have is a cup holders and no storage space and no USB port. Here we have a nice skylight in the rear, but unfortunately it's already broken for a 2019 Acadia. Getting in the second row, as you can see, there's a lot of space for my legs and for my head, and it's pretty comfortable. In the rear, we have a cup holder next to you, which is pretty nice and not at the bottom like most SUVs. Here you have automatic climate control in the back with both heated seats, and just underneath here you have a 120 volts power outlet and 2 USB ports. We'll also found a nice storage space here, which is pretty useful. Being in the front seat, the door opens pretty wide. The seats are comfortable, steering wheel is well placed, and everything is easy to access. The seats of the Acadia is made of good quality leather and are very comfortable. The front door here, we have 2 positions for the memory seats located on the panel. We have the automatic switch for the driver only, which is pretty sad. And you also have a switch here so you can adjust the trunk behind at the maximum position or 3/4 position for small person. Next to the steering wheel, we have the electric parking brake. Here on the steering wheel, you have all the buttons that you find in all cars these days, but you can't find the volume button here, but you can locate it behind the steering wheel. Here in the cluster, you can find everything that you'll find on your infotainment system, which you can use your phone, your audio, the navigation system. But what I found pretty useless here in the navigation system is that when you press on navigation, all you'll find is a compass, which is pretty useless. That's a joke for the French Canadian. If you press on the telephone here, you'll find a message that says "Aucun téléphone con." And same thing for the channel on the other side. Let's say I press the audio button here, I'll find some multiple icons here which nothing is written, so I don't know what it means. So I'll need some time of adaptation to use it. And another thing, if you press on the menu here, you won't go to the menu. You need to press that little home here to go back to the menu. The climate control is pretty simple to use. We have big buttons here, nothing else to say about it. Everything is well placed easy to use. Next to the climate control, you'll find some heated seat switch, which you have two positions, the backrest and bottom, and only the backrest. Underneath the climate control, you'll find two USB port and a 12-volt outlet. Next to the shifter here, we have two cup holders and the knob that you can select the driving mode. And on the driving mode knobs, you'll find two-wheel drive.
Two-wheel drive mode. Right?
Yeah, you'll find the two-wheel drive modes, four-wheel drive mode. Oh, there's a racing mode, which is useless. You'll find, oh, and there's a ski mode here, so you can go ski with your Acadia. And the trailer mode, which is pretty good. The Acadia have a nice presentation in the inside, and the quality is average. Here you'll find under the hood a V6 3.6 liter with 310 horsepower and 277 foot-pounds of torque, which combined to a 9-speed automatic transmission, average 11.4 liters per 100 kilometer. Fuel economy is average, and one thing we love about the engine bay is that everything is well placed, like the spark plugs will be easy to change with time. One thing though, we don't know if the timing chain will have the same issue than the previous generation, which literally totaled the car. And here we'll have disc brake on each corner and the independent suspension on each corner. It's an all-wheel drive and it can tow 5,000 pounds. The Acadia. One thing I've noticed is the visibility. The visibility is good, but the blind spots are small though. Another thing I've noticed is the sound deadening is average, but the sound deadening for this class is good. Like every mid-size SUV, the suspension is on the comfort side. And like every mid-size SUV, the Acadia has suspension which is comfort oriented. Because of that, you have a little bit of body roll, but it's normal for that kind of vehicle. The purpose of this vehicle is not sportiness, but more family oriented. The acceleration of the Acadia is very good, but you'll have issue with traction if you stay on two-wheel drives. But there's a thing I don't love about the Acadia is that the brake pedal feels spongy. I love the feeling of the steering wheel because it's heavy, it brings me confidence, but like all other vehicles these days, it's completely disconnected. Overall, I was surprised about the driving experience of the Acadia because it was developed in the mid-2000s, so I was expecting to have a whole school driving experience, but it have a nice experience driving the Acadia. But actually, it drives like a modern car. Okay. Yeah.
So Andrew, Highlander or Acadia? Both, you drive both same years.
I know.
Which one?
Well, it's hard to say because the previous generation of the Acadia was not that reliable. And then you come to me and ask me if I would choose between the Acadia or the Highlander. But the Highlander have a long story of reliability, not the Acadia.
Yeah. Although the Highlander is $6,000 more. At this point, it's a guess.
Yeah.
It's a guess.
Yeah. It's a roll of dice.
Yeah, it's a roll of dice. We don't know if it's gonna be reliable because the previous generation has issue with the 6-speed transmission, the timing chain, and a lot of electronic issue. The previous generation of Acadia was a catastrophe. The car wizard says that he don't want to talk about these cars. He don't want to see them in their shop because it hurts people when you do the diagnostic on it. He's like, oh, this is going to be $6,000, and he doesn't like to do that.
So $6,000 on maintenance or $6,000 plus for an Highlander?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question.
Yeah, but I was surprisingly surprised by the the driving experience, though.
Yeah.
It's really a nice SUV to drive. It's fun. It's smooth.
Yeah, and I mean, I drive it too, and I was surprised. I mean, I was shocked because the car was designed in 2006, and I was expecting an old school experience. It was very comfortable, very nice driving experience. So Andrew, where do we place it? So Andrew, where would you place the Acadia? We don't know the reliability yet, but for now it seems to be reliable. I mean, it's been around since 2017, and reliability doesn't seem to be the big problem for now.
I'll place it in Canadian recommend. Yeah.
I think too. I think there's a lot of good argument about the Acadia, but there's some place that it doesn't show more than his rival.
Yeah.
So I will go with you, and I will recommend it. Yeah, Canadian recommend.
Canadian recommend.